Coming up on Broncos Weekend, after 3 in a row on the road, the Broncos return home for the holidays.
You know, we've got to have our best week of preparation to get ready for these guys.
Russell Wilson looks to deliver some gifts to his receivers, but standing in the way is a stingy Patriots defense.
We've got a lot of guys that can make a lot of plays. We're excited to get after it and play at home.
On the other side, Justin Simmons and company hope to find takeaways under the tree as they try to regain their form against New England.
I'm so excited, to be in meaningful games down here in the stretch, and I mean, nothing's better than Sunday night football.
We go one-on-one with Lloyd Cushenberry III and offer our bold predictions. So get some eggnog and settle in. Broncos Weekend starts right now. Hello and happy holidays. Thank you for joining us here on Broncos Weekend. I am Phil Milani, alongside the Hall of Famer, Steve Atwater, and Super Bowl 50 champ, Ryan Harris. We are getting you ready for kickoff between the Broncos and Patriots. And our main story this week, guys, is this is sort of a must-win game for this Broncos team as they look to stay in the playoff chase.
Yeah, you hate to be in that situation, but it's come to this. You know, we didn't win the game against Detroit, which was a huge game for us, and now we basically got to win out in order for us to make it to the playoffs. But I think the guys have the right mindset. They've kind of been in a situation where they had a lot of adversity a lot of things going against them early on in the season. They came back from that, and I think they'll do the same way this week.
And really, the playoffs started early for the Broncos. This is a must-win, and they have to match the intensity that they're going to face against the New England team that was leading against the Chiefs 10-7. So this is a great test for them physically to go against, but also to deal with the pressure of a must-win situation. You're going to get to do it at home, under the lights, and be Santa Claus the next day. So everything's lining up for a great opportunity for the Broncos.
You know, one thing that Sean Payton likes to say all the time, Steve, is there's a thin line between a groove and a rut. It feels like after that 5-game winning streak, now the Broncos are sort of teetering with that.
Yeah, they are certainly teetering with it, but you know, they really need to come out and really play with that passion that they were playing with earlier in the season and really just leave it out there on the field. Whatever you have in the tank, leave it out there on the field. You don't want to come off the field like, I still got a little bit left. No. Leave it out there.
And the playoffs are such a big experience. That's why it's worth it to leave it out there like Steve's talking about. You can't know in the playoffs what it feels like until you get there. And so for the Broncos, they have to take this opportunity and get out of the rut or the teetering, whatever it may be, and just determine right now that they're going to win the football game. And when you go against the New England Patriots, they're going to force you to play perfect in situational football. They're going to force you, especially early on in the game, to rebuckle your face mask, get back in the huddle, and still believe you can win. These are all great things that you will need if you do end up making the playoffs.
This Patriots team, only 3 wins this year, but it's still Bill Belichick, guys.
Absolutely.
Sean Payton is 2-2 all time against Bill Belichick. They're just 2 of 9 active coaches that have won a Super Bowl. So Sean Payton, two great coaches here, and Sean Payton definitely expecting a big challenge against Bill Belichick.
You're going to get a team defensively, offensively, and in the kicking game that's going to try to exploit your weaknesses. They're going to have a way to win the game, and that's evident when you watch them on tape. They're very well coached. He's been consistent that way for so long.
And on defense, guys, what we're watching for is how this side of the ball will bounce back after a tough performance against the Lions. Give up 42 points, Steve.
Yeah, I think they should have a sign-up sheet in the locker room with everybody signing their names. I'm leaving it out here on the field today. I'm
like
going
that.
to give it my all. I'm not going to take anything for granted. And we got away from that last week, and we need to get back to it.
And the big thing for me, where's the contested catches? I mean, not only were there big plays being made, but you got to contest the routes. A lot of underneath routes were wide open.
Yeah.
You were falling for the play action way too heavy, not making one-on-one tackles. That's very different than the Broncos defense that we know when they're playing at a high level. Make no mistake, this defense is hungry and upset after that last game. I think they're going to come out with that passion Steve's talking about and really try and put it to the New England Patriots.
Sean Payton says gap integrity. Steve, what does that mean?
Well, just making sure that you know where you're supposed to be. I know it may be a little bit different now, but I know back when we played, on every run play, I knew exactly where the defensive linemen were going to be and where I needed to be. And now if they're sticking their head over in my gap And now I get a little bit unsure about what I need to do. So I think it's more making sure that you do your job, you stay in your gap, you make the play where you're supposed to make the play at, and let the other guys do what they have to do.
And show up with authority. Don't just show up in your gap. Go in and blow that thing up. I mean, you can show up to work or you can show up to win. And that's the difference when you show up, when you fill those gaps like Steve's talking about. You better show up with authority, and that's something that the Broncos can do and need to do in a big way against New England.
This is a good opportunity for this Broncos defense to do that. The Patriots last in the NFL, Steve, in scoring.
Yeah, last in the NFL in scoring. They went away from their starting quarterback, who I thought he was going to have a great career, but he's kind of fallen off some. Bailey Zappi now is the quarterback, and we have an opportunity for our defense to go in and play really well because their offense, they haven't been a great offense. And what our defense really has to do is just keep them to their average. I think they're averaging a little over 13 points a game. Keep them at that average.
It's strange to say it, but a Bill Belichick team doesn't really run the football well, and that's the key. You're going to get opportunities defensively if you're the Broncos to shut down first and second down, put Bailey Zappi in those third and longs, make some plays, and bring some gifts back home to the defense in the terms of takeaway.
Justin Simmons, though, is confident that that defense we saw during the 5-game winning streak will show up on Christmas Eve.
It was a huge challenge for us and just one we didn't meet. We didn't play nearly as well as we needed to, and we didn't execute well enough. And obviously, the takeaways weren't there. And so we need to do, a lot better job this week, especially coming back at home and, protecting home turf. And this is going to be a big game for us.
The Broncos offense is certainly in for a challenge against the Patriots defense, especially on the ground. The Patriots have the second best run defense in the NFL. What does that mean for Russell Wilson? Here's Denver 7's Troy Rank with our matchup of the game.
The Broncos have reached that stage of the season where there's freedom and clarity. You got to win out if they're going to reach the postseason for the first time since 2015. And for me, it's really simple. The offense has to do a little more, and they need a boost from their passing game. And I know Coach Sean Payton talked about this week, they need to rev up the running game. And he's right, except this doesn't look like a get-right game for the running game. The Patriots only allow 84 yards on the ground. That's second best in football. But they are vulnerable in the pass game. They very rarely get sacks. Now, they have Jabril Peppers. He's played great at safety, but they have issues at times in coverage because they don't get consistent pressure. This is where Russell Wilson can capitalize, but it's tricky. Look for Courtland Sutton to get double teamed. Now, we saw that against the Lions. Bill Belichick is the master of taking away an offense's best weapon, and Courtland Sutton has been that this year. 10 touchdowns, an absolute expert in the red zone. So what does Russell Wilson need to do? I think you need to get some quick hitters to Jerry Jeudy, little Jordan Humphrey there. You saw him. Maybe even get Adam Troutman a little more involved, but that is going to be the way to soften it up for those big strikes. Play action has been the Broncos' friend. They will look to go deep, but against the Patriots, you need to soften them up, and they will take out that weapon. If you say, are you sure? Yes. Did you see what they did against Keenan Allen? He had his worst game of the season against the Patriots. They're going to force Broncos away from Sutton. So that's why a Jerry Jeudy over the middle of the field perhaps can make something happen. The Broncos have not used the middle of the field in the passing game. They haven't done much with the intermediate passing game. So with Russell Wilson, look at these numbers, and that's why it's the key. During the Broncos' 5-game winning streak, he had 8 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 2 turnovers. As these last 3 games have played out, the Broncos are 1-2. Russell Wilson, 4 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, 5 total turnovers. So ball security is obviously critical here. Russell Wilson has to balance taking care of the ball and taking chances. And he's going to have to lean on other receivers, whether that's Jerry Jeudy, Brandon Johnson, little Jordan Humphrey, or one of the tight ends, if this passing game is going to give him a little boost to get that first of 3 wins they need to reach the playoffs.
Thank you very much, Troy. What are you expecting from Russell Wilson here, Steve? 4 interceptions over the last 3 weeks.
Well, I think Russell Wilson's productivity has a lot to do with what everyone else does. The offensive line specifically, they have to make sure they're doing a great job of blocking and protecting him against a good New England Patriots interior defensive line. And then, hey, the running backs, hey, you got to do your job too. You got to block if you're in coverage. You got to make sure you're picking up those guys that are blitzing, and the receivers got to catch the pass. So it's not just on Russell Wilson. Now, obviously, he has to do his thing in terms of going through the progression and throwing accurate passes, but it's a team effort on the offensive side of the ball. I mean, on both sides of the ball, but offensively especially.
Well, Steve's absolutely right. You have to start with pass protection. It has not been there the last 3 weeks where it needs to be if you want to be a playoff team. And Russell Wilson has been showing tremendous amount of guts and heart, taking multiple hits when he throws the football, still managing to get it downfield. That toss to Lil Jordan Humphrey was a phenomenal touchdown pass. Jerry Jeudy on third down, he did that against Detroit. He's fighting to win football games, and he needs 10 other guys to do so as well. And the most important of those other 10 are the 5 on that offensive line, protecting him and giving him time.
All eyes on the quarterback, of course, but it takes that whole side of the ball to get it done. The Patriots here since Week 10 have given up just 14.2 points per game. That's second fewest in the NFL. So a big test coming up on Sunday Night Football. Time for our first break here. When we come back, our key stats suggest that history is on Russell Wilson's side against the Patriots. Plus, we'll go inside the Broncos locker room. That's next on Broncos Weekend.
We're going to need our fans too. Our fans are going to bring a lot of energy. I'm excited about that, playing in front of them again, and playing at home, all the juice, all the energy, Christmas Eve, and just seeing all the orange. It's going to be a special night for us all.
C.J. Anderson to the house. Denver wins it. 48-yard scamper in overtime. It is over. The Broncos in overtime have beaten the Patriots.
Our memorable matchup 2015. I still get chills seeing this play. C.J. Anderson in the snow wins it for the Broncos in overtime, 30-24. A huge moment that season that obviously ended with a Super Bowl victory. I think we might see some flurries this Sunday night too. And our key stat, Russell Wilson is 3-0 in the regular season against Bill Belichick. He's one of 3 quarterbacks undefeated versus Belichick with a minimum of 3 starts. Tua Tagovailoa, 6-0, and John Elway, 4-0, are the other 2 quarterbacks. Hello, welcome back here on Broncos Weekend. I'm Phil Milani alongside Steve Atwater and Ryan Harris. Ryan, I'm pretty sure I saw you in that mob celebrating there.
It was one of the best plays that I'll always remember. We took actually the Patriots took a timeout before that snap, and then we came back, and they were in the same defense. We ran that play, and I just remember getting that cut, and then I looked back, and I saw CJ coming right at me. I ducked my head. I was like, he ran right over my head. I'm like, we won the game. I'm on the ground, face down, at Mile High, saying we won the game, and Broncos country erupted. What a memory. What a time. And hopefully get some moments like that on Sunday night.
Oh, man.
That was a spark for you guys, too. I mean, Brock Osweiler was in there. You started to build that confidence. You're like, hey, we got a special team here.
Oh, we are. And, by the way, we beat them again. The first team in the Belichick era to beat the Patriots twice in the season. It was phenomenal. And you really get a lot of respect. Steve, I know you had some battles like that against teams where when you play that team and you come away with the victory, you feel like you won 3 times. Because you won the situations, you won the third downs, you won the red zone, you out-toughed a tough opponent. So that's the opportunity that's in front of the Broncos again against the Patriots this Sunday night.
Plus, it's always fun playing in the snow. It's coming down.
Oh,
it's awesome.
It's the best.
I don't know about all that.
I'm a Minnesotan, so we love it.
Yeah, exactly. All right, guys, let's get some bold predictions. Steve, let's start with you.
Man, I'm going back to the defensive side. I think we're going to get back in a groove here. The Patriots have thrown a few INTs, so I'm going to say 2 interceptions and a fumble and from recovery with it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I like a shutout for the defense. I think they're upset, and I think they've been teetering, and they want to prove that they're a great defense. I also got Lil Jordan Humphrey getting another touchdown. He has really been playing well for the Broncos. So give me the shutout and a Lil Jordan Humphrey touchdown.
Yeah, that was a nice jump ball. Beat him in the end zone there. Yep. Yeah, that was a nice play. This week, Sean Payton also said that the Broncos need to run the ball better. That starts up front. And Sidney Jones is with Lloyd Cushenberry III inside the Broncos locker room, brought to you by Colorado State University. Find your energy.
Thanks, Phil. We're inside the locker room here with Senator Lloyd Cushenberry. Lloyd, you guys are back in prime time. What's the mindset? What's the focus this week as, this is the start of you guys winning out the rest of the season here?
Yeah, I think, the way I see it, I feel like it's a 3-game season. We're 0-0. We got 3 games left, so we got to go 3-0. So, we got to win out to get to the big dance. So we got to come 1 game at a time and get it done.
Lloyd, there's been a lot of talk this week about just needing to be more effective in the run game. I know head coach Sean Payton said the last time he felt like you guys ran the ball well was versus the Browns. So what's the key to getting back to that?
Just coming out, with a focus, with a mindset that we're going to run it no matter what look they present us. I feel like last week they gave us a lot of 8-man boxes. Their main focus was to stop the run, but we can't let that affect us. We got to some way find a way to get the run game going, because we've shown time and time again when we do run the ball well, our offense is very effective.
Looking at the matchup in the Patriots, Lloyd, what are the challenges in facing a Bill Belichick defense, and what have you seen on tape from his group?
Very disciplined. Everyone does their job. I have a tradition of great defenses in that organization, so they're all very, very disciplined from top to bottom. So that they're going to all do their job, and it's tough to run the ball on them, but like I said, we got to come up with a mindset that no matter what, we're going to get it done.
Well, Lloyd, this is a Christmas Eve night matchup, so do you have any family in town coming to the game?
Yeah, a few family. My mom and dad be in town, so it's good to have them coming to the game and for Christmas, so should be fun.
Yeah, you guys have any plans for the holidays?
Not really, just spending time cooking, just spending time together. Yeah, that's about it.
I'm glad you're going to have some family here. Do you have any favorite Christmas traditions, holiday traditions you guys are going to do at all?
Well, it's kind of different. Growing up, we would all go to my aunt's house and just party all night and then sleep all day Christmas Day. So it's different. Everyone getting older, but we'll try to carry that on one day.
Maybe we'll do that after the win. Yeah. Appreciate your time, Lloyd.
Thank you.
Phil, I'll send it back to you.
Thank you very much, Sydney. We're back here at the desk. Javonte Williams leads this Broncos offense with 850 yards from scrimmage. But on the ground, Steve, it's been pretty tough the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, it has been tough, and it's the same situation with Russell Wilson. I mean, if the holes aren't there, there's no way that any running back can be successful. And I know that the offensive line feels like, hey, they need to pick it up a little bit to make sure they can create those holes, because when they create the holes for him, he's getting through there. He's getting through the holes with authority. Both he, Samaj P. Ryan, and Jaleel McLaughlin, they make the most of the situation when the offensive line gives them a little bit to work with.
And I think if I'm Sean Payton, I'm calling multiple runs early in the game to let my offensive line know this is the way we're going to play football moving forward. And the carries was down right about like 25 carries. You had Russell Wilson with 7 against the Detroit Lions. That can't happen. You got to get back into that 32, 33 rushing attempts, and 15 of those have to come in the first 2 quarters to let your offense know this is how we're moving forward.
Set the tone there with the physicality, yeah. And you can't fall behind either. You got to jump out to a good lead there to be able to run the ball. All right, well, it's time for our final break. When we return, it's crunch time for fantasy football. Our pick this week takes into account what Bill Belichick likes to do. And we'll have our keys to victory. That's next on Broncos Weekend.
They got after us in all phases, and that's not the sexiest answer, but it is to just get better and play better football.
Just happy that I'm in the space that I am in right now, and trying to continue to keep getting better, continue to keep growing, continue to keep developing. I feel like there's always still room to improve. There's always still more to be able to tap into. I feel like I'm not at my final form yet. Still trying to grow, develop.
Cortland Sutton's 10 touchdowns this season is good for 3rd in the NFL, but this Sunday we might see a little more Jerry Jeudy. Sydney Jones explains in this week's Fantasy Focus.
Thanks, Phil, for this week's Fantasy Focus. I want to take a look at wide receiver Jerry Jeudy. He's coming off one of his better games of the season so far, recording 10.4 fantasy points in PPR leagues with 3 receptions for 74 yards. Now, as we look ahead at the Patriots, Bill Belichick and company do a great job at taking away teams' #1 weapons. So I believe Jerry will get more action this Sunday with Cortland Sutton double covered. Looking at the past several games, since Week 7, Jerry Jeudy is averaging 14.5 yards per catch. He only has 1 touchdown on this season, which came back in Week 8, so I think he's due to find the end zone again here soon. This weekend, Jerry is expected to produce 9.3 fantasy points, so I think it'd be smart to start him in your flex spot. And for those of you who are in the playoffs in your leagues this year, best of luck. Phil, I'll send it back to you.
Thank you very much, Sydney. One of the things that Bill Belichick likes to do is take away that #1 option. We heard Sean Payton talk about, hey, maybe Cortland Sutton might be impacted by this. Ryan, what do you think that means for how the Broncos offense reacts?
Well, #1, you got to start by going away from Cortland Sutton. The way to make Bill Belichick break away from taking away your #1 is to make him worry about something different. And in that game that we played against the New England Patriots in the AFC Championship, we had Owen Daniels have 2 touchdowns in the first half. So I don't know what kind of coverage they were having with Emmanuel Sanders and Demaryius Thomas, but they had to stop doing that because Owen Daniels was going off. The Broncos have to do that. You got to know going in that your number one weapon in Cortland Sutton's going to be taken away. So threaten the defense to break that defense away from what they want to do.
Yeah, and you never know how they're going to try to take him away. Will they put their best corner on him and try to have him just jam him the whole game?
Yep.
I'm pretty sure they're going to play some cover 2. They're going to disguise coverages. They're going to have a lot of dime defense out there. They run that all the time anyway. So it's going to be, we're going to have our hands full offensively because, again, they're going to give us various looks and they're going to bring some pressure.
Yeah, probably a low-scoring game on Sunday night for sure. As we wrap up the show here, let's get some keys to victory. Ryan, let's start with you.
Run the football early and often to make it third and manageable. You got to start winning third down. Again, a poor third down opportunity or performance last game against the Detroit Lions. So get some touchdowns in the red zone and run the football. And then defensively, just be you. Play fast, have fun, act like it's the holidays and you're a kid and no one's watching and you get to play the game you love. That happens, they pitch a shutout and they can run the football. Broncos are going to have a fun holiday.
Yeah, I agree with Ryan 100% there. Offensively, we got to get 21.8 points, 22 points. Get 22 points, we win the football game. Defensively, hold them to what they've been averaging. They haven't been scoring many points. We just got to let them do what they do. Let them score 13 points.
I was going to say, what did you say, 21.8? That might be hard to get that.
Yeah, 22 then.
22. Yeah, why not? Yeah. Tom Brady's been gone for 4 years. The Patriots are set to miss the playoffs for the third time in that stretch there. So this isn't the normal Patriots team that's coming in here that Broncos fans got so accustomed to hating. A little bit different now.
Hey, players make plays.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. And the Broncos could get to 8 wins on a season for the first time since 2016. So
let's go, baby.
This is a big one. That's going to do it for us. Our thanks to Troy Rank and Sidney Jones, and us here at the desk, Ryan Harris, Steve Atwater. I am Phil Milani. Hope that you're having a happy holiday, and thank you for watching Broncos Weekend.